Good afternoon, thank you very much and welcome here to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It is the Littlewoods Ireland's National Camogie League, the final round in Group 2, but for many, maybe the start of the 22 season for two of the heavyweights of the game, two recent All-Ireland champions. It's Cork against Kilkenny, and quite simply the winners will qualify for the final. I'm Darren Kelly, joined here in the commentary box by Elaine Aylward. And Elaine, we've looked for other teams to challenge the Big Four as such, but I think this is a game we've earmarked from the start of 2022 that we've really been looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it's the game that's really going to set the league alight here now today, even though the weather mightn't be showing any signs of light out there at the moment. But certainly, look, there were the two that clashed in the All-Ireland semi-final last year, and what a game we had there. And this is their first meeting since then, and it's a knockout game. You know, winners through to the league final, and the losers' interest in the league are over, and it's off to rebuild for the championship. So look, a chance for one of them now to get back to a national final and get their hands on a bit of silverware.
And Cork haven't won this competition since 2013. Limerick, or Kilkenny, the defending champions. Let's look at the Cork team. One change from the side that was announced. Amy Lee, the captain, in goal. A full back line of 2, Maeve Murphy. 3 is Libby Cobbinger, and 4 is Maeve Callan. The half back line were number 5, Laura Hayes. Centre back 6 is Laura Tracy. 7, Saoirse McCarthy. In midfield were number 8, Katie O'Mahony. Partner by number 9, Aisling Thompson. The one change from the 115, Chloe Sickerson, makes her first start of the year. Of course, it will be her third appearance. She comes in at right wing forward, wearing 18 instead of Ciara O'Sullivan. Izzy O'Regan wears 11 and Cliona Healy is 12. And inside line lane of Amy O'Connor 13, Saoirse McCartan 14 and Katrina Mackey 15. Yeah,
certainly an inside line that needs no introduction there. Proven goal getters, as we saw here a few weeks ago against Limerick. But look, a really strong team again from Cork, and I suppose they'll be looking to build on the good work they did here against Limerick 2 weeks ago. They had a massive victory that day, and I suppose everything ran really well for them. So it'll be interesting to see today now, under a little bit more pressure you'd expect from the Kilkenny, if that game plan will still look as smooth and it will work, you know, as perfectly through the lines as it did that day against Limerick. Chloe Sickerson in on the wing obviously will give huge flashbacks, I suppose, to Kilkenny from last year's All-Ireland semi-final, where she had an absolutely massive game at the wing there, scoring 4 or 5 points from play. So, you know, she looked to be on form when she came on against Limerick the last day, threw over a couple of points from play and one from a free. So if she's still in that kind of form, she'll certainly take watching from Kilkenny.
We saw Cork 2 weeks ago in their big victory against Limerick. This is the first time we've seen Kilkenny live. They were on the pitch beforehand. I think they're sheltered in from the weather. Brian Dowling has made a few changes to his team. So this is the way they were announced. We expect a few positional switches. Aoife Norris in goal. A full back line of 2, Sarah Crowley. 3, Tiffany Fitzgerald. And 4 is Grace Walsh. The half back line were number 5, Claire Phelan. Centre back 6 is Kellyanne Doyle. And wearing number 20 returning to the team is Michelle Tehan. Michelle Tehan is at left wing back. In midfield were number 8, Denise Gall. Partner by number 9, Julianne Malone. Half forward line 10, Niamh Deely. Wearing number 18, Aoife Doyle is named at centre forward, and 12 is Miriam Walsh. And inside line, top of the right, number 13, Steffi Fitzgerald. Full forward, number 14, Katie Power. And top of the left were number 22, Miriam Bambrick.
Yeah, a couple of personnel changes there, and as you said, expect to see a couple of positional changes there when they do line out. But a few very familiar names to Kilkenny supporter, and I suppose well established players there, but also missing a few key players from last year's All-Ireland semi-final run. When you look at a Kilkenny team without the likes of Colette Dormer and Megan Farrell at the heart of that defence there, so gaps in that defence, I suppose, and Brian Dowling and his management team looking maybe to consolidate at the back and try and build his championship team. I suppose they've had a couple of switches and changes in the last couple of games, so maybe just trying to move the players around a little bit just to find his best team, and probably haven't quite settled on it just yet.
But as you mentioned too, defensively too, and of course Davina Tobin, we're not too sure of her situation either. Tiffany Fitzgerald has been given the nod at full back during this league campaign. Kellyanne Doyle is named the 6, but often swaps with Claire Phelan 6 and 5 as well. No doubt that the spine of the defence, Elaine, is very, very important regardless of the results that Kilkenny work out leaving here today.
Yeah, look, I think for Brian Dowling, like, the result will obviously be a bonus if that's something that comes, but I think for him and for the management team looking forward, if you're looking towards the championship team, you're looking to try and find your 3 and 6 when you have to replace them from last year. And look, if you leave the league campaign without settling on that, I suppose you're going in a little bit unsettled into a championship. So you'd prefer leaving here today regardless of the results to be able to go home and say, yeah, look, we're going to put Tiffany at 3 and it's going to be Kellyanne or Claire or whoever it is at 6. And look, I suppose that's going to be interchangeable throughout the year. There'll be different teams picked for different players and different marking jobs required from players, so it is a movable feast, I suppose. But look, ultimately you'd like to have it settled down in the league. Well and good if they get a league final out of it, that you get to really test it against maybe a Galway or a Tip or whoever comes through the other side. But certainly it's something Brian would look to have leaving Páirc Uí Chaoimh here today. And
of course, whoever loses here today will be finished with their league campaign this year. It's a semi-final in all but name. Cork looked very good the last day we were here watching them against Limerick 2 weeks ago, but for Matthew Toomey, like, Clare pushed them for a while in their game as well. Probably hasn't had the test that he needs, and is guaranteed he can get today.
Yeah, and probably not the test maybe of his game plan and the type of game they like to play. It looked lovely the last day against Limerick. It ran really, really well. They built from the back. There was players moving all over the place, and I suppose the conditions here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh lend themselves to that. They're not as favourable here today. There's a strong breeze blowing down there. There's cold wind and rain out there, so it's not going to be a day for fancy stuff. Look, the pitch is obviously still in immaculate condition, but you'd imagine Kilkenny would put them under a little bit more pressure, and where Cork were really, really strong building from that half back line the last day with Laura Hayes, Laura Tracy and Saoirse McCarthy, you'd expect them to get a little bit more pressure from Kilkenny today and ask a few questions of them going back towards their own goal.
Now, of course, you might hear the stadium announcer in the background there. Now we're going to have a minute's silence before Ron Aveen in memory of a few people. Of course, Paul Shefflin, who's just mentioned there, as one person we're thinking of, and Donny Daly has lost his mother recently too. So we will have a minute's silence before Ron Aveen, and then we have live coverage here in association with Entry on the Camogie Association YouTube channel of Cork against Kilkenny in Littlewoods National Camogie League. Yes, Jeever and Musil, and we're just waiting to see, do we have a Ron Aveen as well?
Please remain standing for the playing of our Ron Aveen.
Well, if that doesn't warm me up in a cold day, I don't know what will. This is the day we expect the Camogie Leagues to come to life as Cork and Kilkenny go to battle. Cork have the superior scoring difference. They've been the form team arguably in the league. So Elaine, tell us why Kilkenny will win this match.
Yeah, exactly for those reasons. I think, look, these are two teams that certainly bring out the best in one another, you know, and they both rise their game anytime they come to play one another. So look, if the national anthem is anything to go by there, we might have a slow build up, but we'll finish with a bit of aplomb.
We certainly will indeed. The rain is bucketing down here as we get ready to start this match. Just confirming, Cork are attacking the goal to the right. Well, I think they're attacking the goal to the right in the first half. Kilkenny playing to the left. You can see Miriam Bambrick has gone into the middle of the field as well. We said expect some positional changes from Kilkenny, and we have certainly got them, and the game is up and underway. Kilkenny attacking the goal to the left, and Miriam Walsh, the player that's gone in the full forward, up against Libby Coppinger. Miriam Walsh has the ball, looking for options inside. Her will go for the shot herself. Goes for a shot at the post. 14 seconds into the game, Miriam Walsh puts the ball over the bar. It's Kilkenny 1 point, Cork no score.
Yeah, and straight from two of the position and changes. Julianne Malone gone to centre forward on Laura Tracy. Miriam Welch gone straight into full forward in a full forward line that contains Katie Kerr, Miriam Walsh and Denise Gall. So Kilkenny playing with the breeze blowing from the Blackrock end there, so you'd imagine it's going to be a route one ball into that full forward line.
Kilkenny have to win this game, quite simple as that, because they are only a +9 scoring difference. They beat Clare by 1 point, Limerick by 8, and of course Cork beat Limerick by 26 points, as well as getting the job done the last day, as well as Kilkenny try and create a scoring opportunity here just inside the 13-metre line. An opportunity for a shot, saved by Amy Lee, but it should come from Miriam Walsh. It's on the back of the net. No! Again, the goalkeeper comes to the rescue, makes the stop, and the referee has blown back for a free, so it's going to be a free in for Kilkenny, but they could have got more.
Absolutely, and lots of lovely movement up front from Kilkenny there. Initially the ball down into the wing, or into the corner, won by Denise Gall really, really well. A run from Julianne Malone outside, pulled out and made the space there for Steffi Fitzgerald, I think it was, who went on that run, or was it Niamh Deely inside? But a super run in, and look, the Cork defence under a little bit of pressure starting off, especially from their own puck out there.
Denise Gall will be taking this free just outside the 20-metre line, looking to put 2 points between the teams. We played 90 seconds of this game. Kilkenny in front by 1. Now they're in front by 2. The umpire runs for the white flag. It's Kilkenny 2 points, Cork no score.
Yeah, and look, they've started really, really well, but I suppose they're going to have to with that breeze behind them. You know, it's a really, really strong breeze down there. Cork did look to win the toss just beforehand and opted to play against that breeze, so obviously look, they'll be trying to just stay in the game for as long as they can in this first half, and John McDonough having none of it now with Amy Lee in the goal and looking for her to get on with the puck out.
Yes, the referee for this game is John McDonough from County Galway. He refereed the entertaining Junior A Camogie final when O'Nrua beat Clonmorris from Kerry in last week. The game we had live here with you as well, and Cork at their first attack of the game as Izzy O'Regan sends the ball down the left in the direction of Saoirse McCartan. But Saoirse McCartan has done well to win that ball back outside the 20-metre line. Turns on the left, and this is a dangerous ball there, and the Kilkenny defence need to be very, very careful as Chloe Sigerson was hovering around there trying to get possession, but Kilkenny's defenders working hard. That being said, the Cork attack are doing the same thing. It comes back out to Saoirse McCartan. She puts on her left hand side, this time goes for a shot or another dropping ball, and as Elaine mentioned, the strong wind there any other day, Saoirse McCartan probably would have tapped that ball over the bar, but not to be. Kilkenny just trying to get it back out between the 45 and the 65-metre line, moving the passes together. Sarah Crowley with the white helmet sending it down in towards the attack, towards Miriam Walsh, who's had a real impact in this game in the early stages, and Libby Cobbinger working hard to try and get back possession of the ball right in front of us here in the main stand in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. You can see the number 7 of Cork, Saoirse McCarthy, there as well, trying to get the ball. It goes out over the line, and it's going to be a sideline ball for Kilkenny, and it's going to be taken by Aoife Doyle. Aoife Doyle back in the starting team. So looking around for options to see who's running. Miriam Bambrick is nearby, as is Niamh Deely. She is the black and white helmet. Referee wasn't happy with something, so we're going to do this again. Just over 3 minutes gone. And of course, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but conditions are difficult based on the weather. Saoirse McCarthy wins the ball for Cork, drives it down the field, and that's what they want to get it down to their dangerous inside line. Referee says it was a push on the Kilkenny defender, and it's going to be a free out for Brian Dowling's Black and Amber side, All-Ireland champions in 2020, against a Cork team that haven't won the O'Duffy Cup since 2018. Indeed, they haven't won this competition since 2013. They were very close to making the final in 2020, only for the COVID-19 pandemic to get in the way. And Kilkenny, of course, the reigning champions. A collision between two players. Elaine, we're going to have a hold up and play.
Yeah, look, I think two really committed players there, Denise Gall and Laura Tracy, just moving forward, and the momentum of Laura Tracy maybe carried her into Denise Gall, and Gall just with the head down a little bit, maybe just took a little bit of a knock to the head and stayed down, and John McDonough rightly just stopped the play to ensure her safety, ensure everything was okay. She'll get a bit of medical attention here, but yeah, really lively opening start to the game. Look, as I said, Cork playing into that really, really strong breeze, so you'd feel like if they're going to get a score down the Blackrock Terrace end there, they're going to have to work it and try and work it. Shots from outside the 30-40 yards are just not going to go over into that breeze, so they are going to have to work it in, but look, they have the forwards inside that are well capable of doing that.
Laura Hayes takes the free for Cork, the far side, and Saoirse McCarthy is running forward. Can she keep the ball in play? That's the question, as pressure is applied by Kilkenny defenders. Again, Kellyanne Doyle nearby there as well, and she has possession now. She brings it out towards the 65-metre line, spots Niamh Deely, and Niamh Deely now moving down the right towards the 65-metre line, sends it in towards enemy lines there, trying to get Katie Power, Miriam Walsh or Denise Cole. That's the inside line starting for Kilkenny today, but it's Cork moving the ball out the field again. The boots there, Katrina Mackey down in towards the attack, and ball missed on that occasion by Cliona Healy, who's wearing the number 12 jersey, but I expect her to play in the inside line like she did last week, where Katrina Mackey could often hang out in the middle of the park. So bit of end-to-end stuff at the moment as both teams just trying to control the ball. This is Katie O'Mahony for Cork, looking around to see who is there, and it's Katrina Mackey with the green boots, goes out of, well, it's a Cork ball, yes, it goes off the boot, I think, of Sarah Crowley in that occasion. Katrina Mackey getting involved in the game, of course she didn't play the last day.
No, and a really deep involvement. I suppose she's well back the field from the number 15 position on her jersey, but certainly back out the field and working around the middle of the field to try and gain a bit of possession. Cork at the minute just with Circa McCartan right in on the edge of the square on her own, and really no other forward inside the Cork 45. They're operating with a one woman up front, so obviously looking to gain a bit of territory and a bit of possession in the front, and then use that speed that served them so well here 2 weeks ago.
There's a good battle going on there off the ball between Amy O'Connor and Grace Walsh, and we'll be keeping an eye on that as well as what you're watching on the screen. Aisling Thompson looks around there, shows her experience, sends it across, just overhit on that occasion by Laura Hayes, and Kilkenny are on an opportunity again. The ball sent inside, Miriam Walsh trying to get a touch on it, not to be, well read by Maeve Callan, who got the breaking ball, gives it out to Laura Tracy, and Laura Tracy moves up towards the 45-metre line, finds a teammate. And Cork are on the move again, and of course those halfbacks 5, 6 and 7, the foundation for what Cork are hoping to achieve this year, as the ball's the far side of the field, a push in the back there, no foul says the referee. It goes out over the far side of the field, and looks like it's going to be a sideline ball for Cork. Nobody complaining either way, just two players from opposite teams just going into battle as well, and Cork have an opportunity to see can they create that first scoring chance.
Yeah, and Kellyanne Doyle there did really well to get back, I think, onto Chloe Sigerson, and just lost the hurl in the process, so happy enough to just kick the ball out over the line maybe and just take it out a dangerous way and let Kilkenny settle at the back again.
Saoirse McCartan sending the ball inside. Of course, she has scored from a sideline cut. She scored from a sideline cut in last year's championship representing Down. She's meant to move to Cork now, with already lining now with St Finbar. Saoirse McCarthy is the wing back. She gets involved in the play, trying to give it off to Aisling Thompson. She's also wearing the greenish boots today, but it's Saoirse McCarthy with the pass inside, and Cork now are starting to settle into this contest as the ball sent inside. Just nobody in there, but the foul was committed, so it's going to be a free in for Cork, and it's going to be brought inside towards the 20-metre line. So this should be the first score of the game for Cork. This concentration is going on the line, but Cliona Healy and the hook of the team taking this free. She certainly was doing the scoring against Limerick the last day. So we're waiting. There's a bit of indecision among Cork here at the moment, exactly who's going taking this, but it is a Cork ball. So Cliona Healy, I'd say, will be taking it. She gets the towel onto the hurl. The towel carrier is going to have a very important role today.
Yeah, the most important man or woman on the field out there today for both teams, obviously. And yeah, a little bit of indecision, I suppose, from Cork there. Chloe Sigerson was looking to come up to it, and she probably takes some of the further out frees, but I suppose just given the breeze there, maybe just Cliona Healy option maybe to let Chloe take it, but no, it's going to be Cliona.
So Cliona Healy taking the free. The umpire runs for the white flag. They're enthusiastic for the white flags today. 9 minutes into the game. It's a 1-point ball game. It's Cork a point, Kilkenny 2.
Yeah, and look, I suppose it's telling of the conditions out there. A lot of water held on the field, around the middle of the field there, but also a lot of bodies out around the middle of the field. So possession and gaining possession out there is going to be crucial. Scores, I'd say, will be hard to come by. So any chance you get, you certainly need to make it count.
Kilkenny in possession again on the 65-metre line. Good work on that occasion being done by Izzy O'Regan, who wins the ball back for Cork, sending it down, but only into the hands of Sarah Crowley, and Sarah Crowley will hold it up. Have a look around again. The Kilkenny player slipped in the process there and is on the ground, so bit of concern there. I'm just having a look with the Kellyanne Doyle that's on the ground. We'll confirm that in a moment, but however, Kilkenny are still moving towards an attack, and this is an opportunity out on the right, sent inside, and Amy Lee is happy enough to let that ball go to the right and wide.
Yeah, and just a little bit of concern, I suppose, from a Kilkenny point of view. Kellyanne Doyle went down under that last tackle there, and look, Kellyanne, a player who's had her fair share of injuries between knees and the shoulder, certainly coming into last year's All-Ireland semi-final, and Kilkenny physio now is calling for a substitution there, so you're just wondering if it's a reoccurrence of one of those injuries for Kellyanne, but someone who's had no real luck with injuries over the last couple of years.
And certainly not. She's been in form in the 2 games for Kilkenny this year. You could argue she's been the defender of the league so far, but of course those injuries coming back to haunt her again, and the indication is that Kilkenny are going to make a change, and a blow for Brian Dowling and his team. Less than 10 minutes into the game. Kellyanne Doyle, of course, All-Ireland Intermediate Club winner with Piltown back in 2015, but she looks in distress there, so we'll just wait for the confirmation of the change. It might very well be Lydia Fitzpatrick could be the obvious option to come on the field of play, but Kellyanne Doyle Doyle's afternoon is over after 10 minutes, and it's actually not. I can tell you that it's going to be Laura Murphy entering the field to play. Laura Murphy's already scored a point in this year's league, so she'll enter the field to play for Kellyanne Doyle, and no doubt Brian Dowling will have to juggle his deck again.
Yeah, look, I suppose we were talking beforehand about how key it was to nail down some of those positions in the half back line and full back line, given the absence of some of the more key players from Kilkenny last year. And Kellyanne Doyle, as you said, is certainly one of the players we would have been, earmarking for one of those positions. But look, she looks to be moving a little bit more freely coming off there now. So maybe just whatever way she went down on that shoulder, possibly the shoulder that she injured last year as well. But Laura Murphy certainly a capable replacement, played a lot of time in last year's league and championship. So she'll look to get involved right around the middle of the field.
Hopefully it's not too serious when we see Kellyanne Doyle back in action soon, but Kilkenny trying to create another scoring chance, and that wind again really picking up and probably deceive the Kilkenny attackers as Miriam Walsh is trying to work her way inside, and Kilkenny just been held out the 20-metre line, and Katrina Mackey back to help out the defence as well, and Cork just getting bodies in the way at the moment to stop Kilkenny on the move, and Aisling Thompson will bring it out towards the 45-metre line. Hand passes out to the left, and Cork battling the elements as well as the Kilkenny attack, and they'll do well not to concede a goal in the first half. It's that heavy and very, very strong as well. The wind as Katrina Mackey starts moving it down the right hand side of the field towards the 45-metre line, and Sarah Crowley can't catch up with her. It doesn't look like that Katrina Mackey is running that fast. It's just as fast as you can run when you're running into this wind.
Absolutely, into the teeth of that breeze, and it looked like to be in slow motion, but I have no doubt from chasing Katrina Mackey around the field for years that it wasn't in slow motion. But credit to Sarah Crowley there, she kept in there, kept the pressure on her, and Mackey was looking up, looking for an outlet for the ball, but Kilkenny had their homework done inside, had all the players covered inside, so no out ball, and Kilkenny eventually turned it over.
Michelle Tehan sending the ball out the field on that occasion for Kilkenny. They've won a foul as well. Miriam Walsh doing a lot of work. It looks like it'll be left for Denise Call, and she'll have an opportunity to go and try and put 2 points between the teams again as we look at the 12-minute mark. We're keeping an eye on the substitutes line as well. There are plenty of activity going on, and I don't think I thought just assumed that substitution had taken place, but it actually hasn't taken place yet.
Laura Murphy hadn't got. She's going on now at the moment, but I think they were giving Kellyanne Doyle every chance, maybe just to have a little bit of assessment there, just to check was it something she needed to come off with. But look, I think rightly so, given the conditions, given injury history and everything, probably a bit of precaution just to get Kellyanne off, get a bit of attention onto it, and get Laura Murphy in there. And she's gone out to right half back straight away and picking up Izzy O'Regan, I think, from Cork on that far side.
It's a smart decision too as well, Elaine, because whatever happens in this game, Kilkenny's season will not be defined by this match. Obviously they want to get into the final, which is the second week in April, as Denise Call sends the ball inside there. Cork need to be very, very careful. Amy Lee's always careful and brings the ball out towards the 30-metre line. Lost the hurl in the process. The referee indicated that she dropped it. It's going to be a free in for Kilkenny.
Yeah, and I think Amy herself knew straight away the hands went to the head. She realised that she'd made the mistake that so many of us have made since that new rule was introduced. It's a force of habit, and certainly she'd done really, really well to control the initial ball there, because it's a difficult day, a ball dropping down their cold hands, a lot of bodies around, but did really well to come out and get it. Just couldn't quite get away from the Kilkenny forwards, dropped the hurl and conceded the free.
Cork are keeping me very, very careful here. They know well what Denise Call is capable of doing in these situations there. Ideal for her, but more than likely she will tap this over the bar. Indeed she did. I think it was in two minds there. Maybe she just didn't get the connection that she wanted. She has the ball back again. Good effort there by Laura Hayes. Sends it out towards Katie Power. Katie Power will have a go at the post, and the ball does go over the bar. 14 minutes of the game. Kilkenny do get their third score. They made hard work of it, Elaine, but they got it.
Yeah, certainly did. The easier option certainly looked to be the free from the 21 there, but maybe the towel carrier could have been in a bit quicker to Denise Call on that occasion. I think her grip just lost on the hurl as she struck it, but look, he got the second chance and got to play Katie Power into play and get Katie on the scoreboard.
3 points to 1 to Kilkenny here as we look at the clock. We're about nearly 14 minutes gone, and Kilkenny just moving it nicely, getting it inside. They really feel there's a goal in Kilkenny before half time. They feel there's a goal in Miriam Walsh. The attempted pass out loses out on that occasion, but Miriam will have another go at the post, and Miriam Walsh puts the ball over the bar. She is certainly standing out in the early stages of this game, Elaine. Kilkenny lead 4 points to 1.
Yeah, and Miriam is such a strong and physical player in there. She did really, really well. Lost the hand pass the first time there, but did really well to win it back and got a super shot off. So, a real target woman for Kilkenny on the edge of the square there.
Amy Levy much busier than she would like as the first quarter nearly comes to a close, and she'll take her time with this, and you wouldn't blame her. I'm just looking at the goalpost to the left of our screen. You might see them next time the Kilkenny attack. They are shaking. Indeed, both goalposts are shaking rapidly as well. I don't know if there's Hawkeye options here, Elaine, but you wouldn't be dependent on Hawkeye in a day like today.
It'll have to be alive to any movement on the goalpost. They're certainly swaying down there, and when you're looking at the goalpost, I'm looking at the two umpires who are trying to look into the teeth of that wind and keep an eye on what's happening out the field at the same time.
The Cork halfbacks have it again as Laura Tracy sends the ball along the ground out towards the 65-metre line, and it's a battle here as well. But these two teams love to battle anyway. They've provided so many great jousts over so many years representing their respective counties, and they'll continue to do the same here again, whether or not. This is Saoirse McCartan. Saoirse McCartan on the move towards the 20-metre line. The pass in the direction of Cliona Healy. Cliona Healy is an opportunity for Cork. A shot, a great save from Aoife Norris. Cliona Healy with the shot. It goes out for a 45, and Cork really showed how dangerous they can be with two of the youngsters.
Yeah, and that's exactly how Cork are going to have to attack against that breeze. You know, they're going to have a slow build up and get the overlap where they can, and they did on that occasion. Super movement inside and great ball out to Cliona Healy, but Aoife Norris and the Kilkenny goal equal to the task. But I think even as Cliona Healy struck that ball, you could nearly see it hold up a little bit in the breeze, such as the strength of the breeze down there. And look, Cork with no one inside, and they're moving forwards inside the 45 now, but you know, you wouldn't bank on this one going over the bar into the breeze.
We've gone towards the back of the main stand here for our commentary position today. I'm just looking at some of the other broadcasters and written press in front of us, and really exposed to the elements. We have that bit of shelter as Cliona Healy takes the 45, but as Elaine said there, just the ball won't travel. You can see some spills of water on the ground as well. Páirc Uí Chaoimh is in great condition now, but obviously the bombardment of the weather they're getting here at the moment, that is bound to happen at patches. This is Amy O'Connor. Amy O'Connor taking on two defenders, gets blocked on the second occasion, and it's going to be a free in for Cork. It'll be another opportunity for Cliona Healy to try and reduce the deficit. Cork trailing this game by 3 points and just want to keep it around that margin until half time. They will be fancied in the second half if they stay within touch, and Cliona Healy will just take this just outside the 20-metre line to give herself a better angle. She scored 1-8 in the victory against Limerick 2 weeks ago. That was her first scoring performance of the year. That ball, I thought she hit it wide, but you can see the way the wind brought that in. Now that was a curve of a sliotar if ever there was one. The point counts, 2 points to 4.
I'm not sure if the sliotar curved around the post or the post curled around the sliotar on that occasion. All three were moving as that was going over the bar, but a good free from Cliona Healy, you know, close in, but it was out to the side a little bit, and as he said, a serious breeze to negotiate down there.
We often sometimes give out about free takers showing too much respect to the elements. I think Cliona Healy showed exactly the right amount of respect for the elements there, and the goalpost did the rest as Niamh Deely tries to move inside there but gets blocked down by Cliona Healy on the 45-metre line. Ground hurling, ground camogie is going to be very, very tough today. Laura Tracy with possession for Cork, sending out in the direction of Laura Hayes, and Laura Hayes gets the ball into her hand and tries to move between the two. 65-metre line is the O'Regan with the pass in for Aisling Thompson, and Aisling Thompson's on the move again, and all of a sudden there's gaps in the Kilkenny defence. This is Aisling Thompson, she's on the move, she might go herself, she goes to the point, puts the ball over the bar. Aisling Thompson gets the score. It's a 1 point ball game, but the holes are open in Kilkenny, 3 points to 4.
Yeah, and there was no doubt there when Cork turned that ball over and got the overlap. You could hear the calls from the sideline from Matthew Toomey was to go, and Aisling Thompson did, and look, opted to take the point. But you know, maybe if she had someone a little bit closer to her moving off her shoulder, there was probably a goal opportunity there. They did have the overlap.
They certainly had the overlap on that occasion, not to be taken advantage. Great drive down the field by Aoife Norris, gets it inside the opposing 65-metre line, and again, as soon as the ball touches the ground there now, it's starting to slow down, and a bit of footwork there, Denise Cole. She did of course play in an All-Ireland junior football final only a few weeks ago, representing Mullinahone, and she was one of the top scorers on that Tipperary side. Tipperary Wine Gap, not that far away, even though they're crossing Kilkenny Tipperary borders. Katie O'Mahony down the right, trying to find Chloe Sigerson. Interception on that occasion by, was it Laura Murphy, giving it to Niamh Deely, and Niamh Deely sends it down the field again in the direction of Miriam Walsh, and Miriam Walsh might just be able to hold that up. Cork staying very, very tight through Libby Coventry, but Miriam Walsh has the ball, the pass. The referee spotted the foul. It's going to be a free out for Cork.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the hurl was dropped on that occasion by Miriam Walsh. I think it was more pulled down out of her hand. She got the pass away, but I think the hurl was more pulled back now than dropped on that occasion, so Cork get away with that one.
Cork get away with that one. Saoirse McCarthy is going to take this inside the 45-metre line, and she sends it down the right as well now, but won't find the intended target. You can just see the height there. The Kilkenny management had their hands out saying the hand was being held, and I think they were correct. The referee, John McDonough, spotted it, and it's going to be a free out for Kilkenny, so it kind of comes back in the end. So the free will be on the 65-metre line, going to be taken by Claire Phelan, and Claire Phelan made her debut for Kilkenny back in 2011. Now, one of the driving experienced heads on the young guns that came around the turn of the noughties into the teenies. Long ball dropping inside. You just feel if Kilkenny can get one of these breaking balls kindly for them, they might do some serious damage. But Cork are not making it easy. Denise Gaw now just inside the 45-metre line, trying to find a way inside. Gives it back to Sarah Crowley. Sarah Crowley will have a go. I think she was trying to send that in towards the attack, but Cork had the extra player in Laura Tracy, and she gives it to Laura Hayes. And Laura Hayes now back at a 1-2, and this is good play from Cork as they move it towards. Cork just seem to be finding gaps in the left flank when they go attack it. Laura Tracy is pushed forward, and she thought about keeping going, just hesitated for a moment, and the referee did say that she did foul the ball at the time, just hesitated that brief moment.
Yeah, just ran out of options, I think. Lovely little 1-2 initially with Laura Hayes, put Cork on the front foot and got forward, but just when she looked up, no options inside, no movement, and forced, I suppose, just to take it into her hand again to try and recycle it back out. And Brian Dowling will be happy with that. Good pressure from Kilkenny, but look, he won't be too happy with the free back down to Laura Tracy again.
Claire Phelan sent the ball down towards the attack again, but Cork's defenders again just getting in the way. They're working very, very hard. Maeve Murphy, the player in possession of the ball at the moment, gives a pass out in the direction of Katrina Mackey, who's probably done more work in defence in this game than she's had to do in her career. Normally it's Pamela, the other twin, that's doing that, but Katrina is doing her fair share for today. Saoirse McCarthy up to the 65-metre line, trying to find Saoirse McCartan to run on this. Izzy O'Regan is there as well. Players collide, but Saoirse McCartan did have the ball, didn't get it into hands. Kilkenny again moving between the two 65-metre lines and the far side of the field. Can they create a few gaps here and get a score before half time? And this is out on the right flank into Amy Lee. You have to be very, very careful. Katie Power was lurking. Cork have the support there, and the referee has blown the whistle. Elena, tell you how bad the weather is. I'm struggling to see players out there. It's really coming down in buckets.
Yeah, absolutely, and there hasn't been any ease up in it. It's wind and rain down on top of the players, so all over the field you can see players trying to keep their hands warm, keep the arms warm when they're not on the ball. It's certainly rough and tough conditions, and you feel that it could be something like maybe a spilled ball or something that might lead to a goal from a turnover or something that could determine the outcome of this game. We've
8 minutes to half time. It's Cork 3 points, it's Kilkenny 4. This is our final group game in Group 2. The winning team will advance to the league final. If it's a draw, it'll be Cork who go through based on the bare scoring difference. They came to this game with a plus 34, Kilkenny plus 9. That'll mean very little, but it could become a factor because it's often tight when Kilkenny play Cork. Indeed, when they met in last year's All-Ireland semi-final, it was Linda Collins who, and we hope you're enjoying this coverage, Linda, if you're watching our coverage here in association with Entry, got the winning score. The Cork captain of 2021 sent Cork back to the All-Ireland final. Just came up 3 points short against Galway on that occasion, but Cork, after a few years of missing out in the big game, we're back at the biggest match of the year. Will they be there later on in the year? Time will tell, but can they get to a league final? Denise Gaw takes this free for Kilkenny, and that's exactly what the weather is like. Even though she has to win, Denise Gaw would never miss that on a normal day.
No, and certainly if anyone was doubting us and the weather and how bad it is, I think that's the proof in the pudding there is Denise Gaw with a free from just outside the D, and couldn't make a proper connection with it, and it's just so difficult to even keep a hold on the hurl out there today with the rain that's coming down.
Yeah, we can tell you there's only been 2 wides in the game, if I haven't missed any. 2 for Kilkenny, none for Cork so far. That's how difficult it is. Cork, of course, have had the 45 and have threatened a goal scoring opportunity as well, as Chloe Sigerson gives it to Saoirse McCarthy down the left. You're just hoping it finds the intended target, which is Laura Hayes on this occasion, and she goes in a move now and works towards the 20-metre line, looking around for an option, a chance, a shot at the post, and that ball, well, I mentioned Cork wide so far. Well, they have one now, but again on the left, they're finding ways to get inside.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're turning over, and they've turned over that Kilkenny puck out again, a quick puck out from Aoife Norris, but look, they've done well. Kilkenny have done well to win it back.
Normally when it's Kilkenny you expect to be safe enough to turn away from the action for a puck out, but not on this occasion. And this is Miriam Bambrick now on the move for Kilkenny in the yellow helmet, getting inside the 45-metre line, getting away from Katie O'Malley. Just too much purchase on that stroke in towards Katie Power, and Amy Lee, the Cork captain, will get to that out the far side to Maeve Cahalane, and Maeve Cahalane working up towards the 45-metre line, looking for Aisling Thompson, and Aisling Thompson is there, and Aisling Thompson on the left. Saoirse McCartan there. Was the hand being held by Tiffany Fitzgerald, I'm not too sure, but Saoirse McCartan has gotten away from the fullback from Young Ireland, and now will have an opportunity to come inside. Look, Saoirse McCartan, this could be a chance to level the teams. Tries to pull the trigger. Great defending from Tiffany Fitzgerald to get the hook in on that occasion. Grace Walsh getting in the way as well there now for the Kilkenny defence. The ball just hovering on that 20-metre line. If Cork win it, they should have an opportunity to get a score. Back to Sarah Crowley. Sarah Crowley will go out to the right, try and get it away, but Katrina Mackey, who's pushed up the field now, is not going to make it easy, and the referee has said it's going to be a free in for Cork, and this will be an opportunity to level the game.
Yeah, Sarah Crowley just coming under pressure there again. I think took the ball into her hand 3 times, and it just goes to show the pressure. I suppose trying to get a strike away is so difficult in the conditions, so players being forced to just carry the ball and hold on to it for that little bit longer. And look, that's down to the pressure that's being put on them, and on that occasion it was Sarah Crowley under pressure. You know, there was Laura Tracy on the other end a few minutes ago, so you know, simple enough mistakes I suppose for making players, but down to the conditions and the pressure that's put on them.
John McDonough be consistent with hurry drops, consistent with catching the ball 3 times. Both teams guilty once each of doing that as Cliona Healy looks. I hope she's not looking at the tricolour above the goal, because that is shaking furiously there, but she will have a go at the post. The post instead still on this occasion. Will that help her get the shot? I think that ball has gone to the left and wide. It has 2 wides apiece in the game. It remains a 1-point ball game. Cork 3 points, Kilkenny 4, and Aoife Norris will want to be extra careful with this puck out as Cork line up against their players as well, and she decides to drive the ball down towards the middle of the field, down into the direction of Niamh Deely, who wears number 10, and she's managed to get in the ball there, but Cork of the bodies. Laura Hayes lost a hurl for a moment. Katie O'Mahony actually lost it, gets it back, and Cork just moving it up the field a little bit, but Sarah Crowley wins possession. Tried to find a teammate, a mishit pass, and it's just spraying everywhere at the moment. Water, the ball, everything, and good work on that occasion by Laura Murphy, I think it is, trying to get back on her feet there as well. Kilkenny do have possession. There was a Kilkenny jersey definitely being held in the process, but play continues on. Referee spots a chop. It's going to be a free for Kilkenny. One to the server link, because there was definitely a jersey being pulled beforehand.
Yeah, I think it just balanced out. You know, a lot of bodies around the middle of the field there, a lot of misplaced hand passes, but certainly it looked like the Kilkenny jersey was pulled back there, so you know the tackle initially got away with, but the free for Kilkenny and Claire Phelan now.
Claire Phelan takes this. It's going to drive. Will it drive over the bar? It is good. It's an excellent score. Arguably the score of the day. Claire Phelan with the free puts the ball over the bar. 27 minutes gone. It's 5 points to 3.
Yeah, typical Claire Phelan fashion. You know, put the ball down, nonchalantly knocked it over from the middle of the field, while players have been struggling to get 20-yard passes out there today. But I suppose she's such a superb striker of the ball and such an exhibitionist of the skills that, you know, it was an easy enough free for Claire, but super score, and I suppose it just gives Kilkenny a little bit of a cushion coming into half time.
It's a superb score from herself there, as well as Cork trying to restart the action out the far side of the field. And Laura Hayes just gets the ball and goes in that run again. That's what Cork want to do, just continue attacking. Turns in her right, sends it inside. Cliona Healy's hoping to get to this. It won't travel. It did travel that far to Cliona Healy. I was looking further ahead of the ball, but the ball decided to oblige. Kilkenny, though, getting themselves organised now. They know they've left too many gaps. Miriam Bambrick tries to send the ball down, but Aisling Thompson gets in the way and plays a nice ball in front there for Cliona Healy, and Cliona Healy just goes to the ground. A collision between players, no foul committed. Cliona Healy will have another goal, sent it inside. Katrina Mackey is exactly where Katrina Mackey wants to be. She might go herself. Katrina Mackey gives the pass off for Saoirse McCartan. Saoirse McCartan held up there as the referee sends the foul in. I thought Katrina Mackey would go herself. He's certainly indicating a free in on that occasion, Elaine. I thought that was in the square myself, but maybe I get your thoughts.
Yeah, he looks like he's pulling it back maybe for an initial free on Katrina Mackey, because Saoirse McCartan was certainly fouled within the square, but I suppose another topical one there is I'd ask about the hand pass that Katrina Mackey laid off. We just see it coming again here now. I'm not sure how clear the striking action was there, but no doubt about Saoirse McCartan's foul was certainly in the square, but John McDonough looks like he's pulling it back for an initial foul on Katrina Mackey maybe, and it is a 21.
So Cliona Healy will get a chance to level these teams as we look at the clock, and the clock says 28 minutes and 47 seconds. Cliona Healy with the free puts the ball over the bar. The sides are level for the first time here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It's 4 points apiece. Oh, sorry, 5 points to 4. My apologies, I was getting carried away. Yeah. Still a 1 point ball game.
Yeah, Claire Phelan's last free for Kilkenny there, just keeping them that one ahead. And look, I suppose from a Cork point of view, if they were to go in at half time only a point down, having played against the elements, they'd certainly be happy with that first half performance. Kilkenny, I suppose, given how much we've seen of Amy Lee in the Cork goal, they'll be a little bit maybe disappointed that they haven't more than 5 points on the board. But look, either way, it's going to be a low scoring encounter, you'd imagine. So, you know, even against the breeze in the second half, you'd imagine Kilkenny will still try and get a couple of scores on the board.
I've been so caught up with the battles going on between the two teams, I forgot to keep an eye on the scoreboard as well. But yes, Kilkenny still in front, 5 points to 4 here, and they'll be probably disappointed to don't have more of a margin in this if they don't get any big scores before half time. 29 and a half minutes gone, and Cork are moving the ball out the field again towards the 65 metre line. A foul committed after the ball was hit. So with at least 2 minutes of added time, Laura Tracy, the player that was fouled, the referee going to have a word with Sarah Crowley, and this could be the first player going into the book in this game. It's just as we come up, look at the clock there now, the 30 minutes has just passed, so we've 2 more minutes in the first half. Yellow card for Sarah Crowley, she goes into the book. Cork have a free, 5 points to 4 to score, and now what can they set up here for Matthew Toomey's charges as Chloe Sickerson sent the ball in down the direction of Saoirse McCartan. Saoirse McCartan trying to get away from Tiffany Fitzgerald. Another great battle going on in this game, and she has the ball there now. Look at the turn inside, spots the in running Katrina Mackey there, and a great interception that was needed. I think it was Claire Phelan. They got the touch in the occasion. It hasn't gone too far. Cork are trying to find a way inside. Cliona Healy out towards Amy O'Connor. Amy O'Connor looking for that bit of space there to go herself. Goes for that point. That ball has gone to the right and wide. Credit to Kilkenny defence. They closed out the space, but Cork were moving that ball very well.
Yeah, some great defending from Kilkenny there initially, I suppose, from Tiffany Fitzgerald out on the wing against Saoirse McCartan, and then when the ball was recycled back out to Aisling Thompson, the Kilkenny defence stood strong and didn't let her through, and Thompson then got it across to Amy O'Connor, who took certainly the maximum of steps there before getting her shot away, but again some superb defending ensured that the shot was under pressure and out wide.
Steffi Fitzgerald tries to launch an attack. This is Denise Gall on the 45 metre line, looking up to see where Miriam Walsh is. Can she get the ball first time? No, says Libby Coppinger, or Katie Power might come in. No, it's not Katie Power, but it is an attack from Kilkenny there, and it just blocks down outside the 13 metre line. The danger of not being averted yet, and Cork just trying to slow it down there for a moment. Just over 30 seconds to go to half time. The referee, I think, is going to throw this ball in on the 20 metre line. Can Kilkenny get this, even get another point on the board before half time? They started off very well, getting a couple of early points, threatening goal opportunities, and since then you have to say the game has been very, very 50-50. Cork have reduced the deficit by a point over that period, and wouldn't rule them out getting level before half time, but the referee is going to blow the half-time whistle. Now just a pause on the second blow of the whistle. Kilkenny in front by a point, both teams running off to get into the dry as quickly as they can. Elaine, your overall thoughts of the opening 30 minutes?
Yeah, look, I think Cork will probably be the happier team going in at half time. They won the toss, elected to play against that breeze and only find themselves a point down. Look, they've probably had the better of that, the second half of that opening half. I suppose they've probably created more attacks and looked like they might be able to carve out a goal, but in typical Kilkenny fashion, fought back there just before half time, and that last half chance there through a lovely ball in through Denise Gall into Miriam Welch didn't quite stick to hand, but Julianne Malone was in quickly behind it. But look, Laura Tracy's having a huge game for Cork. They're back in that centre back position. She's dropping back, and then when they're transitioning into attack, she's the one working off Saoirse McCarthy's shoulder and trying to drive forward against the breeze. Look, they've had to carry it. It's hard work, and at times their forwards have drifted out a lot, so when they do look up, there is nothing inside to try and create that overlap. But just coming near the end there, you see Mackey just getting into position a couple of times, and she looks like if she gets another chance that she certainly will trouble Aoife Norris in the Kilkenny goal. Look, for Brian Dowling and Kilkenny, I suppose they'll be disappointed that they're only a point up, but as I said, it's going to be a low scoring game. A goal is obviously going to be a massive one. They've created a couple of half chances, I suppose, didn't take them. That'll probably be a little bit disappointing for them at half time, because you'd imagine going out to play into that breeze you'll need more than a 1 point lead at half time. But Kilkenny Cork semi-final, who's to tell what's going to happen in the second half, but it's certainly teed up to go all the way to the wire.
We've always known to take our notes and rip them up before the game. That's exactly what we'll probably end up doing here. But at half time, Kilkenny have the advantage. Cork have that gale force wind in the second half. Can they make it count? We will see. Come back to us in 10 minutes time for live coverage of the second half of this game in the Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. Kilkenny lead by a point at half time. The score here, Kilkenny 5 points, Cork 4. Good afternoon, thank you very much and welcome back here to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. I'm Darren Kelly, joined by Elaine Aylwood. We're here for the Littlewoods National Camogie League Round 3 group game, effectively a semi-final. Cork against Kilkenny. Kilkenny a point up at half-time, 5 points to 4. All the floodlights have been on here very, very early in Cork, Elaine, as we get ready to start the second half. Cork have the wind, but the sun is gradually working its way back here to Cork.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not sure if it's just strong lights or if it's actually the sun, but Cork GA are certainly going to have to go in search of a new flag, I think, for the Blackrock end there. The Cork flag is hanging on by its last limbs down there.
The ball is thrown in for the second half, but yes, the Cork flag could well end up on the pitch before the end of this game, but we will watch the action on the field. Remember, Kilkenny must win this game. A draw will be good enough for Cork, expected to go to the wire. Kilkenny against the wind in the second half, just a 1 point lead at half time. They'll be disappointed with that. Niamh Dealey started their first attack. This is Miriam Bambrick, and she's sending it down in the direction of Denise Gall, but Cork lining their defenders up again, led by Laura Tracy, and Saoirse McCarthy is there as well, but they haven't brought the ball with them, and Kilkenny have possession back again, and that's Julianne Malone. Julianne Malone down towards Denise Gall, in towards the attack, and she'll have a go at the post, looking for the first score of the second half. That ball goes to the right and wide, and I think that's 3 wides each in this game, but of course that's where we expect Kilkenny will look for some of these early scores.
Yeah, look, and that was a lovely through ball in from Julianne Malone there. Looked up and saw Denise Gall going into this pocket in behind, and looked probably an ambitious shot enough for Denise into the wind, but drifted off to the wide. But as you can see, Cork obviously looking to leave a lot of space in front of that Kilkenny goal down there. There's no one within 65 yards of the Kilkenny goal, so look, Cork are obviously looking to get possession there and to break at pace and use their speed then.
This is Laura Tracy with the ball. Julianne Malone again setting up Denise Gall, but there was nobody inside on that occasion, and Cork are on the move out now. This was the scoring goal of the game against Limerick. They got 5 goals in the first half. To the goal to our left, they'll be looking for something similar again as Laura Hayes tried to find Saoirse McCartan. It just wouldn't come for her on that occasion, and Kilkenny lining up to deal with the danger as Kellyanne Doyle tries to send it out to the far flank, but Katrina Mackey is going to win the race for this ball. Gives it back in the direction of Chloe Sigerson on the 45-metre line. She turns on the right, tried to send it back in towards Katrina Mackey. Saoirse McCartan there as well. The ball goes out over the line. The far side of the field is going to be Kilkenny ball.
Yeah, and look, as I said, that's what Cork are going to look to do, is they're going to look to carry that ball. Saoirse McCarthy on that occasion up the left wing when she got the through ball from Laura Tracy and looked to cross it across, just held up in the wind a little bit, I suppose, and deceived Saoirse McCartan, who had made that run inside. But look, Cork up in the Kilkenny end of the field now and look to try and hold possession up here.
Sarah Crowley gets a deflected ball down in the direction of Miriam Bambrick, and Miriam needed a second go to get it. She has the ball now, but the referee said she picked the ball off the ground. Was eagerly spotted there by John McDonough, so it's going to be a free for Cork. Saoirse McCarthy has it. Now she's leaving it off for Chloe Sigerson, and we know Chloe likes the long distance shots, and you couldn't ask for better conditions for a long distance shot if you have the wind in your back. It's just those wobbling goalposts again, but this will give a lift for Cork. We'll run through the scores from the first half in a moment. 5 points to 4. We can tell you Tipperary lead Dublin 1-9 to 1-5 at half time. Dublin need a result out of that to have any chance of making the league final, and Offaly lead down 2-4 to 1-5. The losers of that game favourites to go to the relegation final. Chloe Sigerson, the ball did it stay in play? No, it didn't. Eventually trickles out over the line and wide, but it just goes to show exactly what Chloe can do. She got to the whole way, just not accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. Distance was never going to be an issue from Chloe, I suppose, and it was just a case then of trying to use the wind and to guide it in. And look, difficult day for free takers. It's hard to see what way the wind is going to carry the ball in towards the goals there, and then you have the goalpost swaying in the breeze as well. So look, distance not an issue from her, but certainly accuracy missing on that occasion.
Michelle Tehan is there in the middle now of the Kilkenny defenders, trying to get the ball out the field, and just a scramble for possession, which we expect in conditions like this. But Cork just know if they can win 1 or 2 of these, and Amy O'Connor has been quite enough in the first half, sent in the direction of Katrina Mackey. Can Mackey get in this? Aoife Norris has to make. She didn't come first. It's a goal for Cork. It's a goal for Cork, and it's Katrina Mackey who puts the ball to the back of the net. Aoife Norris just hesitated for a moment, and that's all that Mackey needed. Magic from her. It's a goal. 1-4 to 5 points. Cork at the lead.
Yeah, lovely little ball in from Amy O'Connor. Saw the run of Mackey inside, and look, Aoife Norris, I think he'll regret that she didn't just stay coming when she was coming. She hesitated a little bit, took a step back, and that gave the half chance to Katrina Mackey, and look, that's all she needs to punish you.
Kilkenny needs to be careful now because Cork are starting to flex themselves. Cliona Healy goes for a shot at the post, puts the ball over the bar. It's another score 4 minutes into the second half. All of a sudden there's 3 points between the teams. It's Cork 1-5, Kilkenny 5 points.
Yeah, look, and we felt a goal was going to be a big score in the game, and both teams had threatened and had their chances in the first half, but I suppose ultimately Cork were the ones that made it count and early in the first half, and as you said, look, they racked up 5 against Limerick a few weeks ago here, so they certainly have the knack of getting goals down into the city goal there, so they look to pepper Aoife Norris's goal again with more shots and try and create something more.
So a foul there on Claire Phelan, so it's going to be a hold up and play for just a moment there as she was trying to bring the ball out in the field. Kilkenny just wanting to work the ball out, even if it's short. They went a bit of distance there past the 45-metre line, but they have to make sure they don't be losing puckouts. They did that once or twice in the first half as well, and of course, while there's 3 points between the teams and a big 3 points in a day like this, referee just having a word with it is Aisling Thompson on that occasion. So we'll see if there's a card coming here now for the former All-Ireland winning captain for Cork. 7 All-Irelands to her name between club and county, and the yellow card does come out for Aisling Thompson, and I think it was Claire Phelan who went down the occasion. Looks like she's okay.
Yeah, Claire back up on her feet again. A little bit of a high challenge maybe from Aisling Thompson on Claire as she was coming out there, and a chance for Kilkenny now to get out of their own half of the field, but again striking a free into this breeze and into the elements. They're probably going to have to look to work something short.
I mentioned Aisling Thompson, 7 All-Irelands, where Claire Phelan has won 5 between under 16 minor and senior, wearing the colours of Kilkenny. But is Izzy O'Regan who takes the ball for Cork here, moving down the left, and this is what Cork like to do in the first half, the other side of the field, but just runs out of ball, runs out of room, and runs out of trying to get past Laura Murphy, who got in the way, but Chloe Sigerson is there to get the secondary ball, gives it to Aisling Thompson, and Aisling Thompson shows great skill there to move it in range. She'll probably go for this herself. Aisling Thompson puts the ball over the bar. Chloe Sigerson deserves an awful lot of credit for that, but Thompson gets her second of the day. It's Cork 1-6, Kilkenny 5 points.
Yeah, and like you said, just starting to flex a little bit now at the moment. That was a ball that Kilkenny tracked back well. Laura Murphy turned it over just here in front of us, but it was Thompson and Sigerson in again off the back of the break and picked up those breaks, and Aisling Thompson driving forward is always going to fancy her chances with a shot from there.
It is very bright out in the field, but I think Elaine is right. It's more the floodlights here than maybe the sun I was hoping for. Katrina Mackey sends it in towards Cliona Healy, not to be in the occasion. Kilkenny have possession again and sends it out towards the opposing 65-metre line, where Brian Downey's team will be just looking for a score to settle themselves down. Still plenty of time to go. Let's not forget Kilkenny were in a very winning position in the All-Ireland semi-final. Cork came back. Kilkenny have often done that to Cork as well. The 2020 All-Ireland semi-final, there was 6 points. Cork got off to a 6-point start, 1-3, and Kilkenny came back to win the game and ultimately the All-Irelands. Unfortunately for Denise Gall, the decision has gone Cork's way, and they're just waiting to see is Chloe Sigerson going to come to take this. She wasn't going to. Laura Hayes was waiting for her, but Chloe Sigerson is going to come out to take this free, and outside the 65-metre line, she'll send it in towards the house, if not over the bar. And as Elaine said, 1 goal very, very important. A second goal, Elaine, even this early in the second half, you could say lights out.
Yeah, look, I suppose when if you concede a second goal from a Kilkenny point of view and you have to turn around and face into that breeze and try and work, look, it's going to be very difficult to score 6 points into that breeze, so you're going to have to look at building some majors. And look, with Laura Tracy sitting back there controlling the defence as she does so well, it's going to be hard to break down that Cork defence.
Chloe Sigerson sent it in the side. Saoirse McCartan did get a touch in it, but this is an opportunity for Katrina Mackey. Just again, close our space. They give the Kilkenny defenders their due. When Cork get inside, they do tighten up and they make it difficult. They did it a couple of times in the first half as well, and Katrina Mackey was never going to get clear sight of the goal there.
No, great pressure, and we had a great view of it here of Sarah Crowley, and I think it was Julianne Malone was back there as well helping out. So, put great pressure on Mackey. Would have counted on her maybe to get a shot away from there, but just with the pressure that was there, couldn't get clear sight of the goals and out to the left and wide.
The puck out from Aoife Norris down the field. Saoirse McCarthy trying to get a touch in it there, but it's won back again by Eva Doyle, and wins the free for Kilkenny. And it looks like Claire Phelan will come out to take this. Of course, we talk about Chloe Sigerson's long distance, where we saw what Claire Phelan did with her free in the first half. Now, what could she set up here for the Leinster side? Of course, they'll begin their Leinster Championship campaign in April against Wexford. But Kilkenny want to have a league final to look forward to the second week of April 1st before that game on the 30th. Claire Phelan sending it down in towards the attack, looking for Denise Gall. Denise Gall trying to get her hands on the ball, but Cork have bodies around there. Sends a pass across. Space closed out, good defending from Cork. Well worked, and the pass comes out towards Katie O'Mahony. And Katie O'Mahony comes up towards the 65-metre line, just losing her balance. Again, that's just the underfoot conditions in the game, and the pressure from Kilkenny as well, it has to be said. And Kilkenny have won the ball back. Referee says there was a foul. So it's going to be a free in just to get a score to settle down. Good work on that occasion by Laura Murphy. So Denise Gall outside the 45-metre line. Her team 4 points in arrears. Denise Gall got 2 points the first day, or her first game I should say, against Clare. It wasn't their first day. She's had a free, Claire Phelan's had a free, 2 Miriam Walsh points and 1 for Katie Power. So that ball goes to the right and wide lane.
Yeah, just an unforced error, I suppose, from Kilkenny there in a score they would have needed, and I suppose a notable addition to the sideline down there is Davy Fitz just comes into our camera view, so obviously down to try and do what he can to get his Cork side over the line.
You can certainly hear him from where we are in the commentary boxes. Cork launch another attack through Laura Hayes down the far side of the field, but Kilkenny have possession of the Slayer and will try and bring it out. They have to be very, very careful. Grace Walsh gets it a few yards, but gets it as far as Miriam Bambrick, which was the key thing, and sent the crossfield ball in for Aoife Doyle. And you can hear them calling Aoife's name as she sent it in towards the attack, looking for Denise Gall on that occasion. Denise doesn't get a clear shot at it, but Niamh Deely is there as well. But Cork again just getting in, closing out the space for Kilkenny. Aisling Thompson goes back to her 45-metre line. She won't mind that herself, driving the ball down the field towards the opposing 45-metre line. This might fall for Amy O'Connor. We dared to say earlier on that Amy O'Connor was having a quiet game, and then she sets up a goal, but Grace Walsh wins it on that occasion and gives out to Miriam Bambrick, and Miriam Bambrick works away towards the 65-metre line. The long drive down from Miriam Walsh. Miriam Walsh getting ahead of 2 Cork defenders, Libby Coppinger and Laura Tracy. Can she win that battle? She has the ball, she needs support. Kilkenny need a score in this half. Hasn't come for them yet as Aoife Doyle just missed a pass on that occasion. It goes across the 45-metre line and it's won back by Katrina Mackey, and she'll send it down towards the left, and hoping now that Izzy O'Regan can get on this. But good work by Kilkenny to get the ball, but they haven't cleanly got it yet. So it's very animated on the lines. Even Brian Downey getting involved with the encouragement. Aisling Thompson moving down the left, going for her third of the day. That one tails out to the left and wide. And Kilkenny, those we mentioned, the unforced error there, and of course scoring opportunities. Cork just like that quickly can set up a chance the other end.
Yeah, and that's exactly how quick. It looked like Kilkenny had the chance up above, and Miriam Welsh did really, really well out on the far wing there to beat the 2 Cork players and retain possession, but just couldn't break down that Cork defence. And then when they counter-attack again, it's Thompson again up the left wing and gets her shot away and drifted out left and wide on that occasion. But look, that's how quickly they go from defending into attacking.
Sarah Crowley with possession for Kilkenny. They're trying to create space for Kilkenny, but Cork are reading it very well at the moment. But Niamh Deely has the ball and she goes in a run towards the 45-metre line. The hurl has been lost and the referee has blown the whistle. I think he's indicated a foul on Niamh Deely, so Kilkenny will get another opportunity in one lane, dare I say, on the 42-minute mark. They have to put this over the bar.
Yeah, you feel Kilkenny need to get something now. Cork, as we said, they're so well able to counter-attack, and they look like they're going to score more today, so Kilkenny need to get a foothold back into it, get a score, and they haven't scored in the second half, so just to get off the scoreboard and try and then set up again and defend the Cork puck out from there.
It's 1-2 to no score to Cork in the second half so far. This is Denise Gall, about 50 yards out. It is difficult in these conditions, and she again didn't get the connection on that. I don't know if she was deliberately trying to pick a player out, but you'd imagine she would have gone wide if she was doing that deliberately. Maeve Murphy with the ball, too many steps, says the referee John McDonough from Galway. It's going to be a free in for Kilkenny. This is well within range. I might repeat myself and saying again, they have to nail this.
Yeah, look, and it's hard to even know what the range is today. Denise got no distance at all on that last one, and credit Maeve Murphy, read it really, really well. She's having a really good game so far today on Denise Gall, but a little bit of pressure from Miriam just as she was looking up to get the pass away, forced her to overcarry it, and a chance there for Denise, and certainly within her range.
Denise Gall takes the free. She puts the ball over the bar. It's a score that Kilkenny really, really needed. It's a 3-point ball game. Yes, a goal can change everything. A change is happening. It's happening for Kilkenny. And Katie Nolan is coming on the field of play. Dare I say she might end up taking frees here if they get them. But it was a surprise she didn't start the match. But she's on the field now. We'll see who's coming off in a moment.
Yeah, certainly. Katie has a super year for Kilkenny last year and has started the league really, really well as well. So, as you said, a surprise to see her omitted from the starting 15, but she's on now in place of Katie Power and into that full forward line, so she'll certainly bring a lot of energy, a lot of hard work rate, and a girl that's well capable of getting a score or two up there too.
Second change of the game for Kilkenny, none for Cork so far. As the stadium announcer will announce the change there. Cork 1-6, Kilkenny 6 points. And of course we have to remind you, Kilkenny need to get 4 points back because Cork technically have the half a point advantage due to the scoring difference in the group. In Camogie it comes straight down to scoring difference if any teams finish level on points, and that'll be enough to put Cork into the final. So Kilkenny have to find 4 points somewhere. They've got enough score there now to bring it back to a 3-point ball game, and they have a free. Are the little breaks starting to go their way as they get ready to launch an attack outside the 65-metre line? So Claire Phelan takes that again, sending it in towards the house there now, but that's an excellent take by Laura Hayes from Cork, and she's going to come out the field, gives the pass in the direction of Saoirse McCarthy. Saoirse McCarthy didn't pick the ball up, gets blocked by Sarah Crowley, and in possession again Aoife Doyle for Kilkenny across to Steffi Fitzgerald. Steffi Fitzgerald needed to get that ball much quicker, and Cork do not give you much time to pick the ball up there. If you don't get it the first time, you mightn't get the second chance. Chloe Sigerson now has it for the Rebelettes and sends the pass across in towards Saoirse McCarthy, and Saoirse McCarthy with a hand pass to Katrina Mackey, who thought about batting it forward as she knew Sarah Crowley was behind her. She did get it a bit forward, but Kilkenny get themselves organised. But again, has that ball been given away, or will it break kindly for Steffi Fitzgerald? 2 players go to ground, more getting in the way. It's hard to know exactly who has the ball at the moment, but with Steffi Fitzgerald sending it down towards Katie Nolan in the white boots and the red helmet in the attack, being well marshalled by Maeve Callan. Maeve Callan wears number 4 for Cork, and she sends it out towards the left to Laura Hayes. Laura Hayes goes to ground. I think she was looking for the free. That was never coming, and the referee says the free is going to be the other way, Elaine.
Yeah, free eventually came in for the drop turn, the most technical of them all, but there were certainly a couple of hotly contested tackles before that. A lot of physicality out there, and both sets of players obviously giving it their all, and Denise Gall now with this free rather than Claire Phelan, so she'll maybe fancy her chances at a pop from it.
Denise Gall now, if she can get the touch, well, she sends the ball in towards the attack. And Kilkenny they want to work the scores in against the wind. Still plenty of time. Sniamh Deely sends it across, trying to find Miriam Walsh. Libby Coppinger did well, and Laura Tracy reads that so naturally. Laura Tracy was a full back until Gemma O'Connor stepped away. Now she's the centre back, and it seems to be a seamless transition in the Cork defence. Long ball down by Chloe Sigerson, didn't hit the intended target, and it's won back by Michelle Tehan, who will send it out towards the far side of the field, and Aoife Doyle will try and start an attack here for Kilkenny down in the direction of Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan has a teammate and support whose name is Laura Murphy, but she also has Laura Tracy that isn't as accommodating. Katie Nolan doing well on that occasion, gives the pass, well, attempted to give the pass. Cork have it back, and Aisling Thompson is on the run again for Cork. Aisling Thompson was looking up to see where the ball was. She forgot to strike the Slayer in midair, but she had plenty of space there to go herself. Tries to get in closer, sends the ball down towards the goal. The umpire says that ball goes to the left and wide. 7 wide of the game for Cork, but they're still very much in control, Elaine.
Yeah, and I think Aisling herself thought maybe that one had curled in, but probably a bit surprised to find herself in so much space around the middle of the field on that occasion, and got a chance to drop it maybe and take it up again.
So Mary O'Connell coming on for Kilkenny, replacing Sarah Crowley. So we'll see now what way positions they all go. I think Laura Murphy is going back to defence, and Mary O'Connell will stay in an attacking position. Mary O'Connell has already scored a point in this year's league campaign.
Yeah, and I think most telling of all for Kilkenny, and what I'd be looking at, is Laura Tracy's positioning. She's been free for most of the game, and she's playing a really, really big role for Cork back there, and she's central to all the Cork attacks as well as defending back there, because she's able to build from the back and get her wing forwards, Laura Hayes and Saoirse McCarthy, are able to go forward while Laura is sitting back there. So from a Kilkenny point of view, if I was looking at blocking up someone, she's the player I'd probably try and put the curbs on for the last few minutes of this game.
Along with that too, Kilkenny have to be careful because they gave the ball away there, and Saoirse McCartan was trying to find a way inside, not to be. Kilkenny eventually, well, I would say eventually get it back. They've stopped the threat for the moment, but not permanently, and they're really struggling to move this out the field. The foul is eventually committed. Free one there by Sniamh Deely, I think it was. It's going to be a free out for Kilkenny. Like, it has to be settled in. Kilkenny are getting some breaks here as well. They're getting some decisions, but they're not making them count.
No, and look, I suppose most tellingly, a lot of the decisions are back the field. It's back in defence, and the slower it takes to get the ball out of the Kilkenny defence, which is what is happening at the moment with the frees, and it's given Laura Tracy and the Cork backs a chance to sit back.
Well, there's been something happened here now as well. I don't know if Davy Fitzgerald and John McDonough are having a conversation or not, but certainly the referee went back, and is he sending them all back to the line or just the one? I will have to confirm in a moment. Well, certainly Matthew Toomey is staying out there anyway, but I think he sent the rest of the management team
send
back
them
towards
away
the stands.
Anyway. Get out of my face wherever you go. I don't care. Just get away from me. And I suppose, look, there's a nice sizable crowd on the far side who made their voices heard a lot in the first half, and a few now on the sideline in the second half, and this side starting to make their voices heard maybe.
I didn't think a Labour were going to get through the full 60 minutes without talking about Davy at some stage, but he's still on the field anyway, just back closer to the stand in the front of the touchline where the manager Matthew Toomey is. Anyway, back to the action on the field of play as Tiffany Fitzgerald tries to win possession there for Kilkenny on the 65-metre line and waits for Claire Phelan, and this Kilkenny will launch an attack again, sent down in towards Denise Gall, who still looks like she's pushed in towards the full forward line trying to get away from Maeve Murphy. Was their hands on the jersey? I think it was. Good spot from the official. It's going to be a free in for Kilkenny, and again they can still chip away. There's still loads of time, but again they have to be taking scores here.
Yeah, fine couple of pulls of the jersey there I think from Maeve Murphy on Denise Gall, and certainly maybe got away with the first one, but the second one certainly pulled back by John McDonough, and I think she's going to find herself in his book now maybe for just the consistent fouling of that. But Katie Nolan now standing over this free on the 45, so chance for her now to get her name on the score sheet, but again not an easy day for free takers.
Katie Nolan is Kilkenny's top scorer in this year's league so far. She's 1-9 to her name so far. She was top scorer in the opening day against Limerick when they won that game by 118 to 110. Of course, it was a 1-point ball game when they faced Clare. Can she lead the drive to Kilkenny back into this match? Takes the free. The umpire likes the white flag. It's gone over the bar. It's a 2-point ball game. We've 10 minutes to go. It's 7 points to 1-6.
Yeah, and that's a super score for her. Not long on the field and step up. As I said, she has been taking the frees during the league so far. So no change there, but not the easiest to freeze, I suppose, for her given the conditions, but super score and just edges Kilkenny that little bit closer.
There's a bit of momentum with Kilkenny now. Can they make it count? Steffi Fitzgerald has done well to win yards. They gain in towards Denise Gall. Is this the master move now, putting Denise into the inside line and working the ball off her? She looks around for options. The experienced player, of course, played in the 2009 All-Ireland final and was instrumental in scoring 3 points against Galway in an All-Ireland senior semi-final last year, just a few weeks after winning an All-Ireland minor title, and she has been one of Kilkenny's main go-to people during that period of time and continues to do so as well. Player of the Year in 2020. Kilkenny outside the 45-metre line as Niamh Deely tries to find a way inside, gives the pass off for Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan on the move here. There's a player inside. She might try and use her. Gives the pass inside. This is an opportunity for Kilkenny, and the ball goes to ground. There are fouls at the referee. We have a penalty. We have a penalty for Kilkenny, Elaine, and they had been building the momentum. They've been creating the chances, and now they have it.
Yeah, and I don't think any doubt about that penalty. It was the two substitutes, Katie Nolan and Mary O'Connell, that was eventually fouled, that combined to create that. But super work out around the middle of the field by Laura Murphy and Niamh Deely to keep Cork at bay there, to overturn it, and a chance now for Kilkenny. And look, Denise Gall had a couple of chances, I suppose, at a couple of frees against Clare, a couple of penalties against Clare the last day out, so one went with her and one didn't, so chance for her here now, and chance for Cork captain Amy Lee. We haven't seen too much of her in this second half so far, so her chance now to shine.
Eva Prendergast will be entering the field of play shortly for Kilkenny. Cork haven't made any changes yet, though there's a few substitutes warming up, but all eyes are on Denise Gall here. Can this be the big moment now that turns this game in Kilkenny's favour and gets them back in course for a league final? Just over 8 minutes to go here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It's Cork 1-6, Kilkenny 7 points. Denise Gall is going for this. She's brought the sliotar back, so it's Denise Gall against Amy Lee. Who will drive the Kilkenny Player of the Year in 2020 or the Cork Camogie captain? Here we go. Denise Gall gets ready to take the shot. It's a goal for Kilkenny. A goal for Kilkenny. Denise Gall puts the ball into the back of the net from the penalty. It's a completely different ball game now. Kilkenny are back in front. Kilkenny 1-7, Cork 1-6.
Yeah, look, and when you need a player to step up with a big score like that, who do you look to? Only Denise Gall on that Kilkenny team, and it's a super score from them. She put it away really, really well. Laura Tracy had made massive ground from the left hand side. She came in as soon as that ball was risen, but Denise Gall made no doubt, and probably did the right thing with it on a day like today. Slid it along the ground into the corner and out of the reach of Amy Lee.
You just got to see it there again. An excellent low strike to the back of the net. A substitution for Kilkenny. Eva Prendergast on, replacing Miriam Bambrick. And it's Kilkenny 1-7, Cork 1-6. And it all seemed to be set up nicely for Cork during the third quarter. But a bit of momentum has gone away from them. They know they just need to finish on level terms. And I think it was one of the safest bets going that this game was going to be titled the closing moment. 7 minutes to go. Kilkenny 1-7, Cork 1-6. And Cork have a free inside their own 45-metre line. It's going to be taken by Laura Hayes. And she knows the importance now of finding a player in a red jersey with this, driving it kind of just slightly centre to left, but Kilkenny just starting to look at these now nicely, and it's won there by Michelle Teen. There was too many steps, actually it was Laura Murphy, but the referee says she took too many steps, and it's going to be a free in for Cork, and Chloe Sickerson is going to take this, and can she put this over the bar? It'll be the closest one lane that she has had in the game so far. The angle is still not easy based on the elements here, that the rain is still coming down here, not as heavy as the first half, but it's still falling nonetheless, and it's getting harder on the ground, and all of a sudden now we're having a situation where Cork need to score just to keep themselves in control of their destiny in this match.
Yeah, and look, for most of that for the first half of the second half, we've spoken about Kilkenny needing a score and needing to get into the game, and now we find it's Cork. And look, we spoke about big players at the far side with Denise Gall, and none so bigger now than Chloe Sigerson for Cork with her chance.
Chloe Sigerson with the free outside the 45-metre line. Kilkenny have to be careful. It was batted out, but Amy O'Connor was lurking. It's going out for the 45. Well, it has to be a 45. It was definitely a Kilkenny player, so they're going to get another opportunity. Chloe might take this again, and can she put this over the bar? We hope you're enjoying our coverage here from Páirc Uí Chaoimh, brought to you in association with Entry on the official Camogie YouTube channel. Kilkenny 1-7, Cork 1-6. But if you're only joining us, this is the final group game. The winner advances to the league final. A draw will favour Cork, so just imagine Cork have an extra half a point on the board. If this goes over the bar, it'll be all square, but advantage Cork in regards qualifying, and Chloe Sigerson is well capable of putting these over the bar on a normal day, but whether it's not normal today, she'll relish the challenge. Chloe Sigerson got 3 points against Limerick as a substitute, started this game, has put the ball over the bar. We're inside the final 5 minutes of the game. The sides are level, 1-7 apiece.
Yeah, there was no doubt about that one from Chloe Sigerson. I think once she got, it's probably the easiest free she's had all day, and you know, she did really, really well with the first one on the left hand side here just in front of us. It looked to be dipping lovely, and in fairness, it took everything from Claire Phelan to guide it along the end line there, and just nipped out for the 45, and you know, Chloe made no mistake from there.
Now it's Kilkenny who need a score. Cork have the advantage, all square in the field of play, but it's down in the Kilkenny half of the field, and they're trying to bring the ball out of the field through Tiffany Fitzgerald, as holds the ball, looks around for Claire Phelan and gives the pass off to Claire. There's a Kilkenny player on the ground as well. The referee hasn't spotted it, so no hold up and play as it's in down the other end of the field, and Laura Tracy has the ball. Now the referee has spotted the injured player. Just while we look at the injured player at the moment, I think it's Grace Walsh is the player that's down at the moment, but you were talking about how Laura Tracy's been controlling the game as centre back for Cork before Kilkenny got that bit of momentum. It just reminded me exactly of Gemma O'Connor in a few All-Ireland finals in recent years.
Yeah, look, I suppose Laura Tracy didn't play at number 3, looking out at Gemma O'Connor at number 6 and learn nothing over all those years. Look, she's, I think, the perfect player to step into the boots of Gemma O'Connor, and she plays the role really, really well. You could see her straight away from the throw in today. Once everyone gets sucked into the field, she gets back into that sweeping position between her own 45 and her own goal, and just covers the ground really, really well there. She controls everything, but she's also so capable of getting up the field as well, and we see her creating a lovely couple of little 1-2s with Saoirse McCarthy and Laura Hayes in that first half as well. So she's also the perfect foil for them. You know, she sits and holds there, and she lets the two of them who have loads of speed and loads of capability getting forward and getting scores, and they can do that when they know she's back at home minding the house.
2 substitutions have taken place for Cork as we watch Grace Walsh. Grace Walsh, of course, player of the match performance, well, one of the players of the match. I don't think she was the official player of the match in the 2020 final, but she was certainly up there in the conversation with Aoife Doyle as well. Ciara O'Sullivan and Maeve Ring have come on the field to play for Cork. They have replaced Izzy O'Regan and Katie O'Mahony, and that's the first throw of the dice by Matthew Toomey on the bench here, but we'll just keep an eye to make sure that Grace is okay. I haven't seen the helmet go back on her yet, so is there a concern? This will be the second injury for Kilkenny in this game, which, how costly is this game going to be for Kilkenny, because it's going to be another enforced substitution, Elaine, and you're just having a look there to make sure that we're not making any errors in that, but it's a massive blow for Kilkenny.
Yeah, it is. Grace Walsh coming off and looks to be holding her right shoulder, so look, I think she just came off the back of that ruck there and maybe made contact with a player, or a player made contact with her. So look, I'm hopefully, as you said, nothing too serious for Grace, and that it's more precautionary than anything else, but she'd been having a super battle with Amy O'Connor down today, and we were just commenting at half time that they could possibly, the two of them have been out on the 4G pitch, they were having their own little battle.
Laura Norris has come on the field to play to replace Grace Walsh, but Cork have given the ball away, and this is Miriam Walsh. We're talking about one Walsh, here's another. Miriam goes to ground, looks around for support there now as Kilkenny trying to spray the ball. Laura Norris involved, gives the ball to Denise Gall. Denise Gall goes for a shot at the post. That ball goes to the left and wide, so Kilkenny missed a chance to take back the advantage here as well. Inside the final 2 minutes of the game, the teams are all square. It's advantage Cork at the moment in regards qualifying for the league final. There's no extra time, there's no shootouts or nothing. This will be decided in 60 plus minutes, but it's Kilkenny that have to get the score based on scoring difference. Elaine, it's perfectly set up.
Absolutely, and that last little passage of play just totally encapsulated, you know, Cork with the short free, looked to create something. Marion Welch intercepted, and look, they'll be disappointed, I suppose, they didn't get something more from that, but the ball's still there and the chance still there now for Kilkenny.
Libby Coppinger wins the race ahead of Denise Gall and gives it to Laura Tracy. Laura Tracy up towards the 45-metre line. Cork will want another score before they really start settling down, though we just saw how simple it is for Kilkenny to turn it around. This is Saoirse McCarthy. We are inside the final minute of normal time here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. Which of these two teams is going to go to a league final to face Galway, Tipperary or Dublin? We'll check an update on the Tipperary-Dublin game before we finish the broadcast to let you know what's going on in that game. Dublin, of course, need a victory to have any chance of making that league final, but this is Saoirse McCartan, goes to ground, lost her balance in the process, and the ball is going to drop into the hands of Aoife Norris, and Aoife Norris will send it out in front of her to Claire Phelan, and Claire Phelan sends it up towards the 45-metre line, and Kilkenny just trying to work the ball down the field to Laura Murphy. Laura Murphy out to the left to Aoife Prendergast. Aoife Prendergast down into no man's land there, but it's not going to find a black and amber jersey. It finds a red jersey, but Laura Tracy hasn't dealt with it. Great interception there from Mary O'Connell. Mary O'Connell looks inside, there's two options. Can she find one of them? Can she find Katie Nolan? Katie Nolan has the ball, she has support, she tries to go as it was brought down. It's going to be a free in for Kilkenny. It's a free in for Kilkenny to get a chance to go to lead. And Lane, you might have an update from Tipperary and Dublin.
Yeah, just with 59 minutes gone in the rag, it is Tipperary 1-11, Dublin 1-7, so obviously into nearly time up there, and Tip look to have secured another win and keep their clean sheet in the National League.
We'll have Galway and Tipperary for you next week, and our live coverage with entry on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. That will decide the other league finalists. Of course, as I mentioned, Dublin have to get something out of that game to be in the mix, so scoring difference might be against them. But here now, Kilkenny, all square. I don't know if the announcer indicated how much added time is going to be played when he's announcing the substitutes. What we can tell you, if Denise Gall puts this over the bar, Kilkenny are in the lead, are in pole position. Denise Gall puts the ball over the bar. Kilkenny in front by a point. We have played 1 minute of added time. I didn't hear, Elaine, how much more time we're going to have, but it's now Kilkenny looking like to make a league final.
Yeah, and how many times have we said it today? It's now Cork that need the score. It's been up and down, look, and it's been the substitutes. I suppose Mary O'Connell again influential in creating that score. A lovely pop pass across to Katie Nolan, who was fouled for it, and look, Denise Gall doesn't miss from there.
Cork are trying to create a scoring opportunity. Maeve Ringett done well there as Chloe Sigerson's involved too now, and they're trying to spray the ball through Keena Healy back towards Chloe Sigerson, and it took a deflection. Gary Owenstyle held up in the ground for Claire Phelan. Claire Phelan sent it out towards the left. Kilkenny working their way out. They have the free in the process, and Kilkenny are now in control of the situation here. It's another 4 weeks before the league final takes place, and all Kilkenny have to do is not concede a score. We have played nearly 2 minutes of added time. Now, there was a couple of stops, primarily Grace Walsh going on the ground as well, so we'd expect probably 3 or 4 minutes of added time anyway, but we didn't hear the official decision, so we're continuing to play on in towards the middle of the field as Cork try and get their hands on the ball, try and get that crucial score that will put them into the league final, a competition they have not won in 9 years themselves. Clare and Tipperary were in contention. Well, Tipperary had made the league final in 2020 before COVID got in the way. Cork still had to negotiate Clare to come out of their group, but the ball is around the middle of the field, and Kilkenny bodies are getting in there first. They're getting in the way, and they're making it difficult for Matthew Toomey's team to try and find a way, but Cork will not give up. That's the one guarantee you have here. Is Katrina Mackey takes the ball in her hand, tried to go on the run, the referee spotted the foul, and it's going to be a free for Cork. Is it, dare I say, Chloe Sigerson time here?
Yeah, it certainly is, and she's the one who's coming over for it. Look, and it's dead straight in front of the goals. Obviously the distance, as we said before, shouldn't be an issue for Chloe. She's got that really strong breeze behind her, and she's a superb free taker from distance anyway, so look, if she can get the accuracy here, she's certainly within her range.
Both teams came in with 2 wins from 2 in the league so far, but Cork have a plus 34 scoring difference. Kilkenny plus 9. Kilkenny lead this game by a point, 1-8 to 1-7. What that means is simple. If they finish level, Cork are into the league final, and Chloe Sigerson will get the chance. I don't know if this is the last chance or not. No doubt Cork have asked John McDonough, is this the last chance? Over 3 minutes of valid time have been played, and this is the league. But it still means an awful lot to these two teams. They might be judged on what happens in the summer, but now we watch Chloe Sigerson. Chloe Sigerson with the free for Cork has gone over the bar, and is that the score that's going to put Cork into the league final? Chloe Sigerson makes it 1-8 apiece, and all eyes now are on the official. Are Kilkenny going to get one more time? Now, Elaine, it's going to be Kilkenny who need the score. It looks like we're going to have another passage of play.
Yeah, I think just about, no, that's it.
The referees can be very deceiving there. He turned the eyes away. It's finished in a draw match here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Cork 1-8, Kilkenny 1-8, but it means that Cork have qualified for the league final on the 9th or 10th of April against Galway or Tipperary or possibly Dublin. Elaine, your overall assessment of the match?
Yeah, look, what a super game, and a rivalry renewed again, certainly, and plenty of rivalries built up for later in the year as well. But look, a super game given the conditions, and it was up and down the field. And as I said, how many times did we say it was Cork that needed the next score? It was Kilkenny that needed the next one. And look, each and every time they popped up and they got the crucial scores, you know, some big plays from some big players. That penalty from Denise Gall, you know, I thought Claire Phelan had an outstanding game for Kilkenny at centre back, as did Laura Tracy for Cork at the other end. She certainly controlled everything, as we said, throughout the commentary. And then when you needed them, the big players stepped up, and Chloe Sigerson with that free, you know, had some really good ones, some poorer ones throughout the day, just given the conditions, I suppose, to even be able to stand over a free today. But super free at the end to get the equalising score. And look, it's all square again. Cork go through obviously by merit of their better scoring difference, and I suppose that's something maybe Kilkenny will regret a little bit, that they didn't, you know, they struggled, I suppose, to get over Clare. But from Brian Dowling's point of view, it's a much improved performance from that. Conditions again not ideal today, but he'll be happy, I suppose, with what he got off his bench. Certainly Katie Nolan was named to start, didn't start, but certainly had an impact when she did come on.
Kilkenny will be disappointed to have lost their league title, but they've lost their league title unbeaten. We've talked about missing defenders at the start of the day too, and the game looked like it was gone from them during the third quarter. So if anything, Brian Downey won't be too despondent when he reflects on it. Yes, disappointed now, but plenty to encourage him going forward to the Leinster Championship and into All-Ireland.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's what Brian and his management team were probably looking for today, was to probably nail down a couple of key positions, see where they were really at. You know, as we said, they're missing some big names, notably from that defence there from last year. And look, they would have stuttered and stammered through the league last year, eventually ended up winning it nearly by default, because they certainly didn't look like at long stages of the league that they would win it, and you know, stuttered and started through the championship as well. So I suppose, look, if they got to a league final, if they'd aimed to win a league final, it would have been an added bonus. But I think the real focus in Kilkenny on this year will be getting back to an All-Ireland final.
Well, Kilkenny are out of the league, Cork are through to the final. Before we wrap up here, Elaine, as well, you mentioned some players already, but just to give you the final say on some of the top players and your overall player of the match. Yeah,
look, again, I suppose from a Kilkenny point of view, they defended very, very well, you know, stood up really tall, lost Kellyanne Doyle early, obviously, but thought Claire Phelan had an outstanding game in defence there, as did Grace Welch till she went off injured. You know, herself and Amy O'Connor had a super battle. Mightn't always have been on the ball, but they certainly kept one another busy out there. Absolutely, yeah, you know, and Amy O'Connor, such a big player for Cork as well. Denise Gall, look, when the time was needed the most, she stood up, had a couple of wides, a couple of shots that went off, maybe not ideal, but look, that's the conditions that are out there today. And obviously then when Katie Nolan and Mary O'Connell came on, both had big impacts on the game from a Cork point of view. It's that half back line again. I think they launched most of their attacks from there. Aisling Thompson popped up with 2 points, and you know, up front, probably not the most free-flowing game like they would have had against Limerick. The ever dependable Chloe Sigerson, Cleena Healy chipped in with her couple of frees and a point from play. But for me, I just think Laura Tracy knitted the whole thing together. She held the whole thing together at the back, and so capable of getting up the field then as well. And as I said during commentary, you know, her sitting at the back allows the likes of Laura Hayes and Saoirse McCarthy to push up and add a little bit of bump to the Cork forwards when they're on the attack. So overall, for me, Laura Tracy was the player of the game.
Laura Tracy is the player of the game in a contest, a gripping contest again with the ever-growing rivalry that is Cork and Kilkenny. The only thing that disappointed us today was the weather, but it didn't spoil the party too much, and it was end-to-end stuff during the second half about who would qualify, who would not. In the end, they couldn't be separated on the scoreboard over 3 games. It's Cork that get the nod. They will go through to the league final on the weekend of the 9th or 10th of April and try and bridge a 9-year gap. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of the game here between Cork and Kilkenny. The final score on the field of play here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Littlewoods Ireland National Camogie League. It finished Cork 1-8, Kilkenny 1-8.